This is just a general update to show I'm still alive, I guess. It is 13th of May, which is a Saturday, and I'm in my home in Western Tokyo. I'm kind of doing okay, I guess, all things considered. Mentally, I'm feeling okay. I've had some fantastic visitors recently. That's been really wonderful. And I've been spending lots of time with my kids, which is obviously good. And yeah, just a whole bunch of nice things have happened recently. So yesterday, my friend Bicycle Mark interviewed me about homeschooling, and that was really interesting, really enjoyable. He's a super smart guy, so it's just really good talking to him. Always. I've been listening to lots of audiobooks recently, so I listened to a couple by Kevin Mitnick, one which is sort of his autobiography, which is called Ghost in the Wires. That was pretty good. I had heard most of the stories, I guess, before. So Kevin Mitnick is an American computer hacker, famous for social engineering, really. So that's using pretexting to get information and get people to do things for you. But yeah, that often overshadows the fact that he's incredibly competent in technical hacking as well. So yeah, listening to his life story is pretty interesting. He's not a massively likable person, but still interesting. And then the other book of his I listened to, which is surprisingly good, was The Art of Invisibility, which is just about trying to be a bit anonymous and a bit secure online, but also about cellular communications, that kind of thing. It's a book written by an American for the American audience, so some of the specifics won't apply outside of the US. Things like ways to get anonymous prepaid cell phones, that kind of thing. But generally, I was impressed, actually. Very, very good book. And I've started listening to an audiobook called North Korea Undercover by John Sweeney. He was a BBC journalist. He lost his job at the BBC because of because of fallout from his undercover trip to North Korea. So he went pretending to be a history professor, took some students from the London School of Economics, I believe, and there were some issues afterwards. LSE was not pleased. That's pretty good so far. On the negative side, I can't really walk at the moment. That's really becoming an issue, unsurprisingly. So what happened was I got some injury on my left foot, and when you're having chemotherapy, kind of injuries, wounds and things heal very slowly. I didn't realise just how slowly. And one of the medicines I was having with the chemotherapy, molecular targeted therapy called Avastin, it works by stopping your body making new blood supplies, because as cancer tries to grow, it gets to points where it it gets to a stage where it needs a new blood supply, so kind of these blood vessels sort of sprout into it. And Avastin stops that happening, but that means, if you have any kind of deep cut or something like that, you will heal incredibly slowly. So it's now been a couple of months really that I haven't been able to walk properly, which means I'm not walking much. I'm staying in most of the time, and that's surprisingly detrimental to your health. So this is getting to be a really big issue. The kind of wound on my foot is quite serious in that there's a big area, there's a chunk of my foot that's now dead, it's necrosis, and I'm going to, generally I will see my oncologist every 2 weeks when I go to get chemotherapy, but I've been going to a dermatologist at the same hospital every week as well, where they sort of take a photo of my foot and prod it a bit, and I say to them, should I stop chemotherapy? And they say, chemotherapy is very important, and it's kind of hard to know what to do really. And yeah, I really don't want a bit of my foot amputated, obviously, but it might come to that, I think. So currently the treatment for the foot thing is basically a steroid ointment to reduce the swelling, and then this bizarre paste, like a sugar paste with iodine, or iodine as the Americans say. So it's like this kind of orange paste that you smear over the wound and then bandage it up. It is seriously painful, seriously unpleasant. And then my immunotherapist recommended a very expensive treatment, which uses something derived from stem cells. So my immunotherapist is a research scientist and has been doing stem cell research. And his younger brother, in fact, is one of the world's leading experts on stem cells for skin repair, which is good. And they've developed some stem cell therapies. One that you can have as a drip, but they don't give that to people with cancer because there's an increased risk of this drip medicine causing more tumours. But then they have another alternative, which is like a liquid that can be applied on the flesh to help the healing of flesh wounds. So I've tried that as well. I had at one time just last week when I went to see the immunotherapist and have the hypothermia therapy. We tried it, and I'll probably ask for some more on Monday and ask for some to take home with me, although it was incredibly expensive. It was, to have it applied one time cost 8,000 yen, which is whatever that is, $70 or something. So if I get a load of that to take home, it's going to be cripplingly expensive. But obviously, if it allows me to save kind of whatever bit of my foot would get amputated, that's really great. It's just incredible how slowly stuff heals with chemotherapy. So in my case, I was having this thing called Avastin, which makes things heal even more slowly, or possibly prevents them healing altogether. But any chemotherapy, because it damages your red blood cells, it reduces your platelet count, which means your blood is kind of less sticky when you have an injury. It suppresses your immune system, and kind of when tissue needs to be repaired, white blood cells are involved in that as well. And obviously you don't want wounds and things to get infected. So yeah, that's it's just become this really big thing. And it was like, oh, I've hurt my foot a bit, and now it's become this massive thing where I might have to amputate the big toe on my left foot and that kind of thing, and it's very hard to walk, and it's a bit painful to walk. It's painful to walk. Obviously, I can take painkillers, but far more importantly, it kind of, when I'm walking, it feels like it's damaging more because there's like a chunk of dead tissue, and there's kind of issues with like how as you walk, it kind of flexes your foot, obviously, and the wound sort of opens up again and again and again. So I'm very kind of concerned and wary about walking. On the other hand, I really need to walk because A, I need to get out of the house as much as possible, and B, for kind of general health, fitness and well-being, it's very important to walk. Walking is important for your circulation. It is important for your digestion. Is the really big thing. Actually, if you don't walk, you start to get digestion issues and stuff. So that's my life update, really. The only other thing to mention, I guess, is recently been playing with the BBC Microbit. My cousin very kindly got one for my son Edward, and we've been playing with it. So there's the Microbit. It's very fun, very cool. It's got a little 5x5 LED display there, a couple of programmable buttons, and my cousin very kindly gave us an inventor's kit, which is basically a prototyping thing. So there's a breakout connector that fits to the edge connector here, and you've got a breadboard. So in this case, these two micro switches are mapped to two micro switches here. Very, very fun. And I've also been doing a lot of stuff with the Raspberry Pi as well recently, and that's been very fun too. And what else have I been doing? Reading a lot to my son. We've recently read The Indian in the Cupboard trilogy. Fantastic books by Lynn. I forget the author's name, but I shall quickly find it for you. By the magic of the web, and it is by Lynn Reedbanks, a British author who grew up in Canada, I believe. Really, really great books. Other stuff, watched E.T. with my kids recently, which was really nice. I haven't seen E.T. for a very long time. It's not a great film, obviously, but fun to watch. So that's been my life recently. Apart from the foot thing, everything would be great, really. The foot thing is becoming an issue that it's becoming an issue that I'm actually quite frightened about, because it's like, if the necrosis, the dead tissue, if that kind of gets bigger and deeper, it will infect the bone and stuff, and I'll have to have part of my foot removed, which would be horrible for spending the last few months of my life or whatever with a bit of missing foot. Okay, thanks a lot. As always, www.matthewdons.org. If you can share that, super helpful. Thanks a lot. Bye.